retail sales upside surprise.
Wow.
Across the board here, 0.7% against an estimate of 0.4. You can strip out autos, you can strip out gas. The numbers look like this. Positive 1%. The survey, positive 0.4. If you look at the control group, that number, of course, goes into GDP. That is an upside surprise as well at 1%. The estimate there, 0.5. So it's an upside surprise across the board here for US retail sales. In the bond market, guess what is happening? Yields are up here by 7 basis points on a 10-year to 4.26, getting very close to a cycle high for a 10-year yield. In the equity market, breaking down towards session lows, we're down by 0.7%. Lisa, that's an upside surprise.
Again, at a time when people were expecting there to be a little bit of bite with people not necessarily having the savings. We're looking right now. I'm just watching that 2-year yield climb past 5%. We're now gaming out a 5% yield for 2 years. And the length of that is really what's catching my attention over in the currency space. Well, that euro strength fades, and we can see 1089. We actually broke out of the 109 version as dollar really does become ascendant.
If you bring up an intraday chart of the euro on your screen at home, just take a look. It's literally just like that, down bank. The euro negative on the session now. It was positive, a break of 109 briefly, but that's upside surprise again for US retail sales, and that goes in. This is the last big data point before Jackson Hole next week, Lisa. The consumer, based on retail sales, I know we can break down what's happening beneath the surface, still looking pretty resilient. Inflation, some people still arguing, is bottoming here and may well pick up through the year. And this bond market is not smelling the end of a rate hiking cycle of the 2 years back through 5%, is it?
No, and if it is seeing the end of the actual hiking cycle, it's seeing the the constancy of a rate that's held at that level, not necessarily rate cuts. It's not just the upside surprise, it's the nature of the upside surprise. The control group, which you pointed to, John, which does go into GDP, came in at 1% month over month, versus the estimate of 0.5%, up from 0.5% the prior month, which was revised lower by 0.1%. This is a massive upside surprise, especially on month over month at a time when consumers were supposed to be running out of gas in their tank.
So let me go through this again. If you are just tuning in, upside surprise, 0.7% headline retail sales for the month of July. That's month over month. The number we were looking for in the survey, 0.4. Strip out autos and gas, that number is 1% against an estimate of 0.4, and the control group, the so-called control group, that's the number that goes into GDP, 1% against an estimate of 0.5.